all the unique characters,
I do let him bang. Yeah, I'm saying? Like, yeah, I'm a legend, man. I'm building my legacy.
all the stories and perspectives featured weekly.
I wasn't fully committed to that choke, and I kind of sunk into it, started squeezing tighter, and I kind of heard him gurgle a little bit. I was like, oh.
And all the combat sports you could ask for in the best state in the U.S.
Like I said, Ohio versus the world. It's going to happen for sure. Watch out.
It'll be cool, man. I'm not worried about it. I'm going to show them why the Ohio MMA scene is, in my opinion, one of the best MMA scenes in the country.
This is Forged in OH.
IO.
OH.
IO.
OH.
IO.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 87 of Forged in Ohio. My name is Jake Murren, and I'm the host of the podcast. It's been about a month since I was joined by a fighter for the second time on the show. This specific guest, well, it's been around 17 months since his first appearance on episode 18 of Forged in Ohio. That was before his pro MMA debut. Now he's 2-1 as a pro fighter, has competed in bare knuckle boxing, and he debuts in LFA on August 2nd. There's truly only one bad Matt Adams. Thanks for coming on the show, Matt, and welcome back to Forged in Ohio.
Yeah, but I appreciate you having me back. You know, I've been watching you, following you since you started. Honestly, you give the platform to all these MMA fighters when they're small. Now I see you having bigger and bigger guests, so it's awesome to be part of this again for a second time and catch up with you and catch up with everyone else.
Of course, man, the honor is mine for you to come back on the show, and those words mean a lot, especially coming from you, one of the most must-see fighters in the state of Ohio. And it's been a long time since we've talked on Forged in Ohio. I guess we can start with the pro MMA career so far, and then we can get into the bare-knuckle boxing match you had this year. Are you happy with how you've performed 3 fights into your pro MMA career?
Not really, no. I'm not satisfied with where I'm at. I'm not satisfied with my fight, you know. With Cam Kinzik, you know, that was my pro debut. He was 2-0 at the time. I took the fight. A lot of fighters said, man, you know, you're just going pro. You need to, you know, take a few fights, warm-up fights, and then fight him. You know, he's up there. He's number 1 ranked guy in Ohio. But everyone kept turning him down. And, you know, I'm one of them guys, I want to go out knowing that I fought the best fighters around, you know. In my pro career, I can't say that. I can't say I fought anyone great other than him. And then my bare knuckle fight, you know. So I can't really say I fought anyone great yet. You know, had a couple of journeymen along the way to get me a couple wins. I'm not afraid to admit that. Fights I didn't want to take, but I took just so I could get back in there and get, you know, not have ring rust. So, no, I'm not real happy right now, but it got me to LFA contract. So I guess, you know, I signed a 3-fight deal with them, so I guess it got me somewhere, got me bare knuckle. So, I mean, I'm happy with that aspect of it.
Now, I could be wrong here, but let me know if I am. To me, it sounds like easy fights aren't bad Matt Adams' forte. You like the hard fights, you like the wars, you like testing yourself against good competition like Cameron Kinzig in your pro debut.
Yeah, you know, I took Cameron Kinzik, a 6'7" dude, my pro debut, number 1 ranked guy. You know, then bare knuckle, I took a dude that was 6'8", ex-UFC fighter, Quan Adams, for my debut. You know, he weighed in, he was over the weight limit, and then you do rehydration, you re-weigh in right before you walk out day. And so I weighed in at 261. I weighed in at next day, before we walked out, 264. He weighed in at 268 pounds, 269 pounds. He was overweight. Next day, he weighed in at 307. He gained 33 or 34 pounds or something in a night. So, you know, fighting big guys, I guess, is my style because I'm only a 5'10" heavyweight. So it's fun, I guess.
Standing at 5'10" yourself, how challenging is that when you're facing off against a guy who is that much taller than you?
You know, man, I always said to myself, you know, we're all the same size when we're on the ground, you know. I got Cam down. I rocked him. His eyes rolled back twice. I thought, you know, I think I was a little bit underexperienced in that fight. I think that he had the experience over me. And, you know, experience plays a big factor in this game. A lot of people don't realize that. So him had more amateur fights than me. He's older than me. He's been training at a higher level than me. I should have stayed calm. I had a little adrenaline dump when I rocked him both times. I should have wrestled him, but I thought, you know what? I rocked him. I know I got heavy hands. I'm going to stand back up. But I didn't realize how much adrenaline dump and the cardio factor played in that fight. So I was kind of gassed when I stood back up. kept my hands down was, that was a big thing that we've been working on at camp. So yeah, fighting these tall dudes, fighting the Quan Adams, kept my hands up a lot. He hit me with the very first punch of fight, split my eye because I didn't have my hands up because I just thought I didn't know bare knuckle that well, so I just thought maybe I'll already go out there, we'll clinch. That wasn't the case, But after he hit me out one time, I started covering up. But like I said, man, it's just one of them things. I'm a short heavyweight. I'm a short, little fat heavyweight, so I'm not tall, man. So
You mentioned the weight gained of your opponents between weigh-ins and fight night. What does that look like for you? How heavy are you on fight night compared to weigh-ins?
So my bare knuckle fight was kind of different. It was actually kind of messed up. So you get there Thursday, or Friday. You weigh in Friday. You do a pre-fight weigh in Friday. So I weighed in at 264, and then the next day you weighed in again, and for your real weigh-ins. And I was so sick leading up that whole week down there in New Mexico. The elevation, everything. I was sick. I had a fever, man. My girl was door dashing me medicine. Next day I weighed at 261 after I ate, so I lost 3 pounds for my weigh-ins. Um, so that kind of sucked being sick. But usually I'll go from like 264 to about 271. I don't really rehydrate. I rehydrate, but I don't gain a lot. It takes me a little while. So like right now I'm a little heavier coming to this fight, but I lose weight fast, but I don't put back on because I lose it right. I don't lose it like I don't get on a treadmill and wear a sauna suit and sweet sweat, 6 days in a row. I do it right, so it comes off right, so it goes back on right.
Yeah, so is that the ideal fight week for you, weighing in around 265, and then on fight night you're around that 270 range?
Yeah, because I know when I first got into fighting, I was weighing like 230, 235, and I realized real fast these heavyweights are, they're real heavyweights. They're weighing 255. They're cutting to make heavyweight. I never realized that. Wrestling in high school, you could weigh 285 and below, and that never really bothered me because you don't get punched in the face when you wrestle. So starting to get punched in the face, and you seen the guys that are weighing at 265, barely making the weight, and then they're gaining 280, 290, hitting you with all that weight behind me. You're like, I really need to put some size on. So yeah, that's about ideal for me for fight week. And then weighing in, yeah, rehydration. I drink Pedialyte, some water, get some good food in me, some good carbs. I think I weighed in one time like 275 after rehydration one time. So
When it comes to weight on fight night, are we still doing the pre-fight ritual, gummy bears, gummy worms? Am I right? Still doing that?
yeah, trolleys. I ate trolleys. I don't. It's such a weird thing. I was on my way down to a fight with my wife and my buddy Jonah, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get these, and this is gonna be something I do. I did that in wrestling though too a lot. I used to get gummy trolleys, and my buddy used to bring me packs, and they're like, here, man, don't forget these. And I used to always joke around like, man, this is my thing. And ever since then, yeah, every night, yep. And we were in my last fight. My wife's like, you forgot your trolley at the bare knuckle. She's like, and she door dashed them to me because New Mexico where we were, it was it's so weird. New Mexico is such a rundown town. We were in the town where Breaking Bad was filmed, so it was bad. Like you walk down the street and there'd be druggies hanging out. That's everywhere, but it's pretty bad down there. So you really couldn't do much down there. Wasn't real much to do. So she door dashed those to me. I had a few. So yeah, it's still my thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you're the perfect fighter to ask this question. I've asked this to a lot of fighters, and I always love hearing their responses. I know the pre-fight meal are the trolley gummy worms and gummy bears. What about the post-fight meals? Say you get a big win. Do you let yourself indulge, and what's that go-to meal look like?
A lot of people will ask me, "Hey, what do you after you fight?" I'm a big, and it is crazy. I'm a big Mexican food kind of guy. I love some steak talk. I'm real simple. I'm real picky either. I don't eat a lot of greens. I don't eat veg like onions. I eat meat and cheese. Meat and cheese. That's all I eat. So I'll go get steak tacos, chicken tacos, a little queso sauce. Just enjoy it with the family, with my friends, because they're the one that's helped me get here. So I celebrate with the people that's always been my corner. I've had the same corner person for a long time. My wife's been my corner person before. I put people in my corner that I feel comfortable with fighting. Now they might not know everything in the world, but 85% of the time you don't hear what they're yelling. With the noise, especially bare knuckle and like big fights with this crowd, you kind of go numb to the sound. So you kind of you're in your own little world and you got to expect. Now, when you go back to the corner, they tell you stuff. So I celebrate with them guys. We go get nice Mexican food. After a loss, I really don't celebrate to do. I really don't eat nothing. I kind of sat in a pit of depression. Especially getting knocked out. That first time I ever been knocked out. So that wasn't fun by Cam. But, hats off to him. He's in the LFA. I'm in the LFA. So I get this win. We'll see where it's at. His last opponent or whatever, the fight fell off. So we'll see. I'm 1 fight away, 2 fights away from fighting him again.
Yeah, is that a rematch that you want? Do you want that fight one day?
Yeah, I want that fight. I got nothing. Cam's a great dude. Trains with a great camp. Trains with great coaches, great people. But it's one of them things that I was young. I was unexperienced going in that. I only had 5 amateur MMA fights going in that, so I didn't really have a lot of fights going into it. But also, I'm not a guy to shy away. I could have said no to that fight and fought 2 or 3, journeymen. Got the feel for the pro scene, the 5-minute rounds. But you know what? They offered me that, and it was a big opportunity, so I took it. And I don't want to say in a bad way. I feel like we're evenly matched on our feet. He's got some crazy knockouts. He front kicked that guy in the face. He's a good dude. He's tall, he's lanky, he's athletic. But I think I'm the first person to ever knock him down. And if you watch Fight Back, his eyes rolled back, his arms went flat twice. And the ref came into the back room and he's like, "Man, that was amateur. I would have called that fight." So it was it was one of the things like going from amateur and pro. That's why I thought amateur they would have called that. When I finished Mark Gordon, I wasn't even hitting that hard, but they called it. So me knocking Cam, I thought they were gonna call, and that's where the experience level comes in. When you're pro, they're gonna let the fight go on longer, especially main event. So it's something I got to work on. It's something I've been working on.
When it comes to pro MMA, especially in the heavyweight weight class, how important or what's the key, I guess, to finishing fights when it comes to you have them rocked and just being able to get that fight actually finished across the finish line, if you will, like an example against against Cameron Kinzig?
Don't rush. Don't rush things. Don't think just because you hurt them that they're going to stay hurt for long times. A lot of fighters recover quick. Some fighters don't recover quick. But you got to know your opponent. I should have known with his experience, you know, he wasn't going to just be an easy finisher. I didn't take a lot of hard shots on the ground when I tried to wrestle him. I should have finished him, stayed on top. My hips are heavy, but I tried to choke him. I don't know why. I tried to choke a dude that's 6'7". It was a bad judgment call all around on my part. Cam did what he needed to do. He got the win that night. He was a better man. Like I said, I show respect to people. I don't live with bad regrets on that. I don't like sit here and think, well, wow, he sucks. I hate him. Nah, man, Cam's a good dude. I think we talked a few times since then, but it's just one of them things. Like it's not like I did get knocked out, completely knocked out, which is weird. They ruled that TKO, which I don't know how they did that. I'm not afraid to admit when I lost. He knocked me out. He had a good elbow and a good straight right, but I also had him caught in that fight, so it wasn't like it was an overmatched fight. It was experience played that night, and everyone saw it. I give hats off to him and his coaches.
To no one's surprise, all 3 of your pro MMA fights have ended in the first round. Is that what you were expecting when you joined the pro ranks of the sport?
Uh, everyone that I've trained with or sparred with, from Trayvon Eller to Jay Murphy to RJ Harris, all you guys are like, man, you hit so hard. Like you got some of the heaviest hands I've ever been hit by. But my problem was when I started, I didn't know how to. And this going to sound crappy to say about myself, but I don't try to sugarcoat stuff. I didn't know how to throw punches. I didn't know how to throw a straight punch. I didn't know how to throw a punch accurately. I knew how to throw punches. I just didn't know accurately. I didn't know how to throw them with the power behind them. Now I know how to throw them accurately. Now I keep my hands up. Now I know how to cut the angles. I'm learning all the stuff I should have learned a long time ago, but I really didn't have a gym behind me when I was an amateur. All my amateur fights, I pretty much fought out of my basement or fought out of my buddy's garage. I didn't really go to a real gym. I think my last 1 or 2 fights, I went to VO2 somewhat with Brody and Trayvon, but I was more up there in Trayvon's camp to help him with wrestling because I'm in Trayvon's corner for his fights because I help him with this wrestling. So I wasn't up there more for more for him than anything. Him and Wimberley are my boys, so I'll do anything for them. I should focus more on my hands than wrestling at camp, but they're just gonna show LFA that what I've been working on, so more patience, less pressure. I'm a pressure fighter. Everyone likes that. I get close, but that's also in the heavyweight division. You get caught, it takes one punch and kind of any weight division, but especially the heavyweight division.
Yeah, it sounds like the striking has come a long way. Just how much have you grown since the last time we talked, really since you turned pro and have gained more experience?
Dramatically, like I went up to Ronan several times. Josh helped me a lot up there. Brody helped me a lot. Brody Rutledge. Trayvon really helped me a lot. These guys are actually strikers that don't wrestle. I told him, I'm like, I can help you guys wrestle, but I need help with striking too. I can't just be focused on wrestling the whole time. Like, yeah, I would love just to every fight to take someone out and beat them up, but come the heavyweight division, especially pro, you catch a knee going in, you catch an elbow going, an uppercut, you got to be ready to stand up if you can't out wrestle the guy. So, like, I would say it came a far way. I can't wait to show it off. I'm ready to show it off because I'm tired of people always like, man, you just wrestle spawn people, and that's not me. Yeah, I did my last pro fight, my last MMA fight. I wrestled, dude. I also hit him with a head kick. So, I mean, I throw a little bit of kicks in there too now. I've been learning some of those too. So, yeah, it's came a long way.
It's kind of hard to get distracted almost looking at your Tapology page with the amount of canceled pro fights you've had. I counted 5 across both MMA and boxing. I know you're used to fighting like every 2 to 3 months. So how difficult has that been for you?
Man, it sucks because this, like my amateur career, I canceled a few. I had a lot of things to do on my amateur career. My mom passing away, to a lot of some other family issues I had. But going pro, I'm like, I'm not gonna cancel a fight. But then like Mark Gordon fight, I had to cancel because they gave me LFA contract. So that fight came about, and I told Nicole and them guys I didn't know for sure if I was gonna take that fight for sure. But now I'm like, I owe it to Mark because Mark, I was his only loss. He took the fight on kind of short notice with me. So I felt like I owed it to him to give him that rematch. As a man, as a person, I'm like, I'll give it to him. Then LFA reached out. They're like, hey, man, we're offering you this. They gave me a good contract. They're like, but you can't fight for anyone else once you sign this contract. So I messaged Nicole right away, like with plenty of time for Mark to find a new opponent. I'm like, hey, listen, this came up. It's an opportunity I really can't pass up. She understood that. And then I got another boxing one on there against that one Cornell or whatever. I fought already. We had a draw. He canceled. He broke his hand or broke his finger or something in camp or got sick. And then there's a few other ones I didn't cancel. They ended up canceling. Then the LFA one, my original LFA one, I didn't get a contract. I was supposed to fight on it. It was my fault, but it was also I messaged LFA, mentioned a few times, hey, I can't get MRI in time down here. Can you guys like help me out, get one up there? I'll come up there a couple days early. Can we do something? They didn't message me back. And I'm like, ah. And then they messaged me literally in the night before weigh-ins. Hey, if we get you right up here, we might be able to give you MRI tomorrow, but we're not for sure. I wasn't really on weight because I messaged them a week and a half before that, telling them I needed help with the MRI. The money was no problem. I had the money to cover it. I had insurance to cover it, but I had no way to. Everyone's out here. They were 2, 3, 4 weeks out to get me in, so that cancellation was my fault. So that sucks. But no, man, it's been rocky. It sucks because, like I said, I fought 11 times in 1 year between boxing, MMA, and then I did like 10 jiu-jitsu matches in 1 year. So it's like, it sucks not being active because I hate to say this in a bad way. I go into a dark place when I don't have something scheduled. Like, I go into a really dark place. I got to be training or I got to have a fight ready, or I just go into a dark place, like real depressed. And that sucks to say. It just, my whole life I've been an athlete, I've been competing. So it's like my getaway in the kind of a sense.
Yeah, I think a lot of fighters can relate to that. And I don't know if you've heard like the viral Dustin Poirier comments a few months ago, and he kind of talked about the same about how he goes into a really dark place after a loss and when he doesn't have a fight booked. And for you, it kind of sounds the same. What does that look like? And is it really just getting a fight on the schedule that takes you out of that place?
Well, the Cam Kinzik one put me out for, it was supposed to be 90 days, but it put me out for 60 because they put TKO down. So that sucked. 60 days was a long time to wait. It wasn't even that I had to let my brain recover. So I did that healthy. I wasn't going to spar but I wanted to get back right away. Well, Nicole and them guys were cool. They're like, hey, we'll give you an easy match. We'll give you someone that you want to fight, but blah, blah. And it was super heavyweight fight against William Myers. I got nothing bad to say about the dude, but I feel like he shouldn't be fighting. He took a lot of losses. He's going to get a lot of brain damage from a lot of fighters. He got a fight this weekend somewhere I saw. And, I took the fight just so I could because I was already cornering Trayvon that night and everything else. I think we had 6 fighters fighting that night or 7 or something. It was at the Newark one, Newark location. And so I hopped on there because the Trayvon was fighting. He's like, man, just take the fight, just take the fight. So I hopped on there with him and Wimberly and Jake and all them guys and beat him. Didn't take any damage there. And then had a lot of cancellations. I fought. I don't remember the other dude's name now, Tussle or whatever. Didn't really want to fight him. They gave me the fight, and that whole fight was weird. It was a weird fight, man. Like he was just it was a weird. The whole lead up to the fight, the weigh-ins, like um, fought him. He shouldn't have been fighting heavyweight. Now he's cut back down, so that's good. But yeah, I have to have something booked, man. I have to be looking forward to something, or I'm just. And I have a beautiful family. Like it's not that I'm depressed about my life. I'm depressed about the fight scene because I know in my career I should be farther than what I am. But when my mom passed away, I took a 3-year layoff or 2.5-year layoff from the sport. So I should be a lot farther. I'm 26 years old now, which everyone says young, but in the fight game, time is something you will in life. Time is something you'll never get back. So I gotta be booking fights. I gotta be winning fights. I gotta be progressing.
Last month on social media, you wrote a long post about the ups and downs that fighters experience. I'm sure you've gone through some lows with inactivity and 2 losses, but also some highs with 2 first-round wins in mixed martial arts. How do you navigate that aspect of the sport, and is it taxing, especially mentally, to have to go through that?
Yeah, a lot of people are like, "Oh man, you signed up for this," and yes, I did sign up for the sport. And the craziest part is, I love this sport so much. Like, I would fight any day. You call me tomorrow, I fight. I don't care. That's the problem. I love the sport. I love the competing. But you take a win and you're on this level. You're like, "Yeah, man, I'm a beast." But then you know that it's crushed by. I got to book another fight now. And each fight you win, you got to book a harder fight. So that means your training goes up. You should be training hard no matter what, but that means you got mixing stuff, going to different camps, cross training, doing this, doing that. You know, uh, I work 12-hour days sometimes, 14-hour days sometimes. So going from work to there, and then when you take a loss, you got to go back to work, and then you work on long days. And I'm a heavy equipment operator. I'm a excavator operator, so I sit by myself all day in excavator, and that's all that goes through my mind after a loss is like, what could I have done? Why did I do this? And then you got people reach out to you like people that don't fight, man. That's what really hurts me. They're like, well, you should have done this, you should have done that. It's like, well, you get in there, you do that. Like it's different to watch it than be in there. That's why I feel like the critics, don't realize like if you put on the gloves, I don't care who you are, I don't care how bad you are. If you get in there and you fight, you have all my respect in the world because there's only 2%, 3% of the world that will actually fight. So yeah, it's a lot of lows, more lows right now than highs, I would say, because like you said, I took 2 losses. I took one bare knuckle, broke my hand in 2 places, had to quit the fight. Didn't want to quit the fight. I was up on the scorecards, but broke my hand. Couldn't feel like my whole arm was numb. So I had to quit that fight in the 3rd round, which sucks. I never quit a fight like that. And then lost to Cam, got knocked out. So 2 crappy outcomes to 2 big fights. It is what it is. But moving forward, I don't want to take a loss, but a fight's a fight. You never know what could happen.
Talking with Bad Matt Adams here on Forged in Ohio. Let's talk the bare knuckle boxing fight. What encouraged you to get into the sport and make that first walk to the BKFC cage earlier this year?
So man, I was watching everyone. People were sending me videos. Look at this, man. You should try this. You should try this. And I'm thinking, man, like that's a big promotion. I doubt I could get into it. And I remember I posted something online one day, like I would literally love to fight BKFC. And a guy named Jay Davis reached out to me. He's like, "You really want to fight BKFC?" I said, "Yeah, man." I said, but I thought you'd blown smoke up my butt. I thought he was just kidding. And nothing came about it for like 3 months. I never heard another word about it. So I'm like, yeah, he was just screwing with me. Well, then he messaged me one day. He's like, "Hey, man, I got this fight. Do you want it?" It was a short notice fight against the dude Ben Rothhold was supposed to fight or whatever his name was. I can't think of his name. It was like co-main event or something. They were gonna pay me good and everything, but it was against a good guy. But I'm like, yeah, I'll take it. Well, the guy said that I didn't have a big enough following, I have a big enough name. He didn't want to fight me, which is fine. It is what it is. I get that. So then like 3 months go by, I'm like, dang man, that was really I really wanted to do that. And he calls me again. Hey, we got a guy out at Jackson Wing Gym that wants to fight you. I'm like, I don't care who it is. Let's do it. They're like, his name's Quan Adams. He used to be in the UFC. I'm like, I don't care what he used to be in. Let's do it. Send me a contract within the hour, signed the contract, called my coach. I'm like, hey, we're going bare knuckle, New Mexico, Prospect Series. They're like, oh, okay, let's get to camp. That night I went to camp, had a good workout, and everything went smooth that camp, man. I can't complain about one thing. That camp was probably one of the best camps I ever had. I felt great till about 5 days before the fight. Before we got down there, I got real sick. I don't know if it was flu, COVID, or what it was. I was running a fever. Had the shakes. I'm like, man, I can't back out of this fight, dude. I've been working so hard. I'm like, we'll go down there. I'll take medicine. Get down there, man. The elevation 7,000 feet above us. My nose is congested. My chest is congested. I bought one of them teapots at Walmart, dumping down my nose, trying to get everything out. I was taking nighttime, daytime, just to make it to weigh and to look all right. I was just pouring sweat, standing there in the air conditioned room, and it was just, it was a fight getting to a fight, but I made the walk still, put on a good show. If I wouldn't broke my hands, I think I would have won the fight. But that's one of the things. What if I didn't break my hand? But I did. So you can't turn back time. I lost the fight. I had to end the fight because my hand was messed up. So it is what it is. But yeah, then I got another bare knuckle fight. I don't know if you saw that against that one dude. He ended up not passing medics. He something that was wrong with his paperwork or something, and that fight got scrapped. We drove all the way to Connecticut for that. So it's been ups and downs, man. It's been a lot of, like I said, a lot of lows, man. A lot of lows in this sport that people don't want to talk about because it sucks to talk about, but it's the truth. You experience more lows than you do highs, Even with wins, you experience lows, because people are still going to judge your performance. People are going to try to tell you what you should have done and what you shouldn't have done. There's never going to be a time where everyone's like, man, you did the best. You did great. You did everything perfect, You need critics to tell you that, but you also need people to uplift you and make sure, you keep pushing harder. So.
Yeah, and I appreciate you talking about the lows of the sport as well. I feel like not many fighters would admit to that or be as open to talking about it as you are. When it comes to bare knuckle, how did training camp for a bare knuckle fight compared to an MMA fight differ? Did you do any preparation actually without the gloves?
Yeah, I hit some mitts and stuff, but a lot of people, like, you see them people hitting boards, and you guys see them people hitting walls and hitting bricks and hitting, like, but I don't do anything. Like, everyone's like, oh, that's strengthening your knuckles, blah, blah. No, it's pretty much the same hitting them with gloves on, you just bare knuckle, yeah. You get to wrap your hand from here down to your wrist, other your knuckles are not covered. So, yeah, you get your hands hurt worse in a fight, but there's nothing you're going to do to prepare your hand from breaking. Most of the time, you can talk to any bare knuckle fighter, they either messed their hands up with the wind, broke their hand, dislocated something. The same night I fought, Jenny Savage fought. She was big time girl. She got like 50, 60, 70,000 followers on Instagram. A big name. She broke her hand in that fight. The same night I broke my hand. I think there was 5 people that broke their hands that night in the back medical room. And, they had super glue in my eye. There's guys out there getting stitches, super glue. They got like a whole medical room with like 6 medical tables out there. You see the guys coming out blood just pouring out of it. That's warrior shit. The warrior stuff. My bad, my language. That's warrior stuff that I love to see. I love that, man. I love the warrior mentality like that. Seeing the blood just. I remember I was like the 4th to 5th last fight. There was like 6 above me, 6 below me. The fought before me, and the dude came out and he just pouring blood. I'm just smiling like, man, this is awesome. And being a heavyweight, I'm like, I'm probably gonna get split up. And first punch split me up, and my eye was bleeding. I'm like, man, this is cool. It was fun, man. I enjoyed it. But no, pretty much. Sorry, my bad. But pretty much the same. Pretty much same preparation, man. I just did no wrestling really. More mitt work, angle work, keep my hands up, defense and anything. So.
Yeah, it's such a brutal sport. Was it difficult for those around you to get on board and actually watch you compete in bare knuckle?
My wife had a hard time with it. She didn't have a hard time with me competing. She had a hard time afterwards when my face was all bruised up. I was kind of, I still had good spirits. I still was happy. I was more mad about my hand. I couldn't tie my shoe the next day. My hand was bigger than a football. It was all swelled up. I couldn't move my hand. My eye was swole shut. I got pictures of it. I posted about a while back. I took it back down though. But I was swole up. My eye was super glued. All night I was spitting up blood and trying to get the phlegm out of my throat. And I couldn't. I was breathing real like short, hard breath, and she was worried about me. But all my boys loved it. They thought it was sweet. I would do it again in a heartbeat. The pay was decent. They treat me really well down there. I made really good friends with some of the big guys down there, like Andy Hall, Kevin Smith. People talk crap a lot about a lot of promotion. You see a lot of crap talk about bare knuckle, but man, for my first fight, I got paid pretty decently good. I don't know if I fought a big name guy from the UFC. Like, he didn't have a big name in the UFC, but he fought in the UFC. He's from Jackson Wick. I don't know if they paid me more for that. They thought that I was going to be walking the park or what it was. But man, they gave me a sweet hotel. They gave me a good flight down there for me and my wife. They drive you around. You got your own car. They like pay someone to drive you guys around. You get picked up. You got your own chauffeur. Man, they treat me well. I got no complaints about that at all.
So it was a loss for you in the third round, but from the clips that I've seen, I have to imagine that you're pretty happy with your first ever performance for BKFC.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with it. I was up on the scorecards. My accuracy was 81. That's pretty good for heavyweight. I think I threw like 70. I threw 112 punches. I landed like 78 or something. My accuracy was 81 or 80, it was 82 or something like that. And I was landing the shots I was throwing. I was timing my shots right. I was connecting them. I heard him. His whole face was swole up and cut. He told me afterwards it was the hardest he's ever been hit. So, he fought UFC fighters. He fought Greg Hardy. He got knocked out by Greg Hardy before. So hearing that really made me happy, but it was also, I got to work on more accuracy. But in bare knuckle fight, you're in a firefight. You throw. You get hit, you throw back, but I wish I threw more accurate punches, and I probably could have put him away, but that's a game. I'm happy with it. I'm not happy that I had to quit because my hand was so broke, but it was one of them things that I broke it the first round. The clips on my Facebook of me breaking it. You see me kind of shake my hand like this after I hit him with a hard right. I shake my hand. I'm like, something's not right. I fought the second round, and but going in the third round, my arm was numb the whole way up to my shoulder. I couldn't feel my right hand. Couldn't feel anything in my right arm. Barely could pick it up. So I thought I could tough out. I didn't tell my corner people that because the refs or anyone here say you got a broken hand, they end the fight. So I kind of toughed through till third round. Then it got to a point where it's like, man, I run heavy equipment. I need my hand to run, to run my excavator. It's either me keep breaking, I have to, get surgery immediately, or me stop this fight and I go back to work Monday. And that's what I did. It was a judgment call, but I wish I would kept going because I probably got a contract that night.
How is the hand doing nowadays?
Good, man. Real good. Feels great, man. I've been working on it. I did a lot of rehab on it. They wanted me to get surgery. I got x-rays of it. But, man, I don't – I'll tell you what I'm scared of in life, and this is crazy. The first time I ever flown in my life was down to bare knuckle. I was scared of airplanes to that point. First time I ever got on an airplane. And the only reason I did because my wife was on there with me, and I trust her. I'm like, you know what? If you trust it, I'll trust it with you. We go down together. So I got over that fear a little bit. And then my second fear is surgeries. I'm blessed in my life. I've only had one surgery my whole life, and it was immediate appendix removal. My appendix was about to burst, so I had to get that. But I don't want to be put under, man. I don't. Something about just getting surgery while I'm asleep, anything go wrong, you hear all these bad stories, and you see bad stories on Facebook. Just doesn't make me happy. So, yeah. I healed on my. I changed. I healed on my own. I did a lot of rehab on it. Did a lot of ice and did a lot of medicine. Wore brace for it. Did all kinds of stuff for it. It doesn't bother me anymore. I've been hitting mitts good now. I got my power back in it, so I feel good with it now. I feel real good with it.
Yeah, that's good to hear, man. What would you say you learned most from the BKFC fight that maybe you could apply in future bare knuckle boxing fights or even some MMA fights as well?
Bare knuckle. If I was ever to fight bare knuckle again, I definitely would time my punches more. I would close the gap a little bit more. I wouldn't fight someone that's 6'8", but people will cherry pick opponents, man, and like I don't want to be that guy that if I go out, if I'm ever to a point where they say, where it's my time, because everyone comes at a time where it's time to retire. I don't want to look back and say I fought bad guys. I hate to say this, but I got some bad guys I fought on my resume, and I can't say they're bad guys. They're just not guys that were up to my caliber, So I all I want now, that's why I'm fighting this dude. My first fight for LFA, he's on a 6-fight winning streak, coming from amateur to pro. He beat some good guys. That's what I want. I want the toughest guys. If I beat this dude, I want Cam Kinzik. If I can't get Cam Kinzik, I don't know who all is the heavyweights in the LFA, but give me someone. I like to get 2 wins and fight for a belt for LFA. That's always your goal, is to win a belt, to go pro, to go to the next level. LFA is right there with UFC, Dana White Contender Series and stuff. So I like to get a couple wins, man. That's my goal. Be the best out there. I don't want to look back one day and say, wow, man, I was 9-0, but look who I fought. I fought a dude that was 0-8, 1-6, 3-10. I want to look back and be like, I fought these dudes that were dogs. We had dog fights. Like me and that dude for bare knuckle, we had a good fight. We had a dog fight. It was fun, man. I loved it. But me and Cam, for long it lasted, it didn't last very long. It was a dog fight. It was fun. So entertained the crowd. They loved it. So I want to look back. always say I put on the best show I could for the fans because they're paying $60, $70 a ticket, sometimes more. I don't want them to ever be disappointed to come watch me fight. I want them all to say, well, but Bad Matt put on a good fight for us. It was a banger. That's always my main goal. If you're gonna pay for entertainment, I want you to get your entertainment out of it.
And that right there is why I said there's only one Bad Matt Adams, and that's why you're one
Yes,
of the
sir.
most must-see fighters in the state of Ohio, like I mentioned. When it comes to bare knuckle, I know this might be a silly question, but how did that feel in the ring? Not only delivering punches without gloves and obviously breaking your hand, but absorbing those strikes too.
I'll tell you what, man. It's out. This is gonna sound crazy to a lot of people. It honestly wasn't like a lot of people think. They think you're gonna go in there and just going like shatter your face, because they see this stuff like Mike Perry shattering Luke Rockhold's, face and stuff, and jaw and stuff, separating teeth and stuff. But man, I'll tell you what. I got hit. First punch split me open. I've never been split in a fight, so it split me open. I knew instantly split me open. You can feel the warm blood coming down your face. But I'll tell you what, I felt like, and I hate to say it, I felt like I could take them punches all night. He was throwing hard. I don't feel like he was throwing. There was one moment he hit me with a couple good ones. They thought that he had me, but I wasn't really hurt. I was more just turned. I turned and he started hammer fisting me. You can't really do that in a bare knuckle fight. But they were supposed to duck the point. They didn't. I didn't care. I didn't care about point. I knew the fight was close. But I never want to win by like that. I never want to win by DQ or a point deduction or a legal shot. I don't want to win like that. I'll never take the easy way out. So I don't know, man. It's just one of them things that I think if I was ever to go out there again and do it, I would close the gap. I would keep my hands up a little bit more, and I would try to work on my accuracy like I've been working on. Throwing straight punches. I was throwing half punches all the way up through my amateur career. I wrestled a lot. I wrestled Mark Gordon down there. I knew he could strike better than me at the time. And I got all respect for Mark Gordon. I know he just took a hard loss this weekend. I'm gonna reach out to him, talk to him, because I know take a loss, you need people around you. And like when Jade Maddox just lost, he was been my boy. I reached out to him and I'm like, hey man, I've been in your shoes, dude. I took a hard loss for my pro debut. You're recovered, but he's been going through some stuff with surgery on knee and this and that. I just hope he's got so much talent. I hope he comes back soon and he really gets to, because he is a skilled fighter. A lot of people think he's cocky, but you have to be some kind of cocky and crazy in this fight to get anywhere.
Yeah, well said, man. When it comes to the bare knuckle boxing and the handbrake that you suffered, is there anything you can do next time to where you can make sure that the hand doesn't fracture in the first round like it did the first time? Is there any way you could protect the hand and maybe preserve it throughout the 3 to 5 rounds?
Yeah, throw straighter punches. I threw it. If you watch a fight, if you watch a punch, I kind of turn my wrist in. I kind of hit him with the top of I kind of hit him like right here. That's where it broke. I didn't hit him with the front. I hit him with the side, kind of like this, because he turned his head. So if I would throw a straighter punch, I would caught him a little bit better. So it's my fault, man. Everything I do everything you do in the fight game, it's you against you pretty much in there. You gotta perform. You can't go out there with the mindset, I'm not gonna perform my best. You always have to, no matter if you're feeling sick, if you're hurt, you gotta go there. 95% of guys come out of camp either hurt, sick, beat up with the injury. They just hide it. They don't want to tell the world, hey, I'm hurt, because they have that warrior mentality. Like, I'm fighting no matter what. This is kill or be killed. This is my time. You're only young once. So I seen a lot of fighters fight hurt, dude. They cover it up. And a lot of people don't realize that. You got people out there judging them for fighting. They're judging them how their performance. But you don't know what happened in that camp. You don't know what happened leading up to that fight. I know guys that lost their parents, lost brothers, sisters, kids leading up to fights and still fought, put on a show for the fans. And then if they lose, the fans want to judge them. I don't feel like you should ever judge anyone going out there and putting on a performance. I don't care how good they do, how bad they do. If they're going out there and putting either their 0-0 or their 5-0, putting their 0 on line or putting their health on line, back them and support them. I mean, it's just one of them things that don't down them, pick them up, especially when they're down in a beat. Definitely don't down them. That'll drive people to really depressed spots in their life.
You posted on social media when your fight at LFA 189 was announced that you're going back to what you love in mixed martial arts. Why is that the direction you're going next?
Man, I started my own gym in my hometown where everything started for me, where I won state, where I won national as a wrestler, where it really opened my eyes to competition and stuff. going back home because I moved away from that town. So going back home and starting the gym with my buddy Brody, we got about 16 guys already. Just walking on the mats, man, again, and just feeling. And you can just something about the smell, man. You just smell like you're back in your, back in your young days. You just when I was young, man, when I was wrestling, man, I always just had that smell. Like, man, this is awesome. So it's like it's almost like smelling a brand new pair of shoes, but you can only smell it one time, and then after that it goes away. But it's like I'm smelling it again. I smell that like I want to push myself harder now to be the best person I am. I kind of slacked off a lot of my fights, because I had an hour and 10-minute drive to VO2, an hour and 10-minute drive home after a 12-hour day at work, and then I had 2-hour training up there. So it was a lot of miles being away from my family. So now I'm 15, 20 minutes down the road from my gym. I go up in the gym up, man. I'm working. We got RJ Harris in there. He's a good training partner for me. We got Brody. We got a lot of big guys in there to help me. And I feel like I thrive coming from that spot because when I started wrestling for that team, I was nobody. I worked my way up and I became one of the best. I was the first and the only state champ up to this point out of that school and national champ. So being back home, it just feels like I was born and raised to do this. It makes me feel good about myself. Makes me push. Like there's everyone. The cop stopped by. The town cop stopped by the other day. He's like, man, I can't wait to see you fight, man. I'm backing you. This is awesome what you're doing here, man. Getting these guys come down here. The gym free. We don't charge anyone to come to the gym. It's free for guys to come in and train. You can bring your kids. There's a place they can play with their kids. They can go outside and play. It just nice having your family there, having people there to support you. People stopping by. Keep doing this. Keep it up, man. It's nice, man. It really, and I got a couple of my old wrestling buddies coming out there that want to fight. So it's cool. It's cool being back home.
Yeah, well, congrats on the gym, man. I know it's probably much more convenient for you being that much closer to the gym and being a gym owner and everything like that comes with it. But what's it like from your perspective, seeing everyone else come in and kind of build a community in that building and seeing everyone else grow as you grow in your own career as well?
Oh, it's awesome, man. So we started off, we went in on Sunday. I called Brody. I'm like, hey, listen, man, I got this spot. Thanks to my old high school wrestling coaches, they own the building, but they let me run class. They let me run the gym out of there, man. It was cool. I reached out to them. They were cool with it. They're like, Matt, you know what? We know you drive a far distance. You want to use it. You do this. Here's the keys. Come get the keys. They gave me keys, man. I got to keep it clean. I got to pay electric and stuff. But, it's cool seeing them guys come in there. If I feel like I'm a kid again, because I see the look on their face when they're sparring. I look, or when they got their first takedown, or they land their first 1, 2, 3. Just it's cool. And they're like my buddy Austin Ratliff, good buddy of mine to wrestle, and we wrestled all the way up through high school together. And no, I only wrestled 2 years, but I wrestle every year with him. But he's taking a fight. I think he's gonna fight August 24th for OCL, and he's young, he's strong, and it's awesome seeing the hunger he has. He's texting me every day, hey man, I need to get a shirt made, man. Hey, I got 50 people in my family. My mom wants to come. My aunt wants to come. Like my brother, all this stuff. Just like they're family members. It's like when I was young, I remember telling everybody in my family like I got to fight, and they were all excited. So hearing him text me that, and then like me and RJ text back and forth about his fight coming up. I'm in his corner. He's fighting the second ranked dude in the nation, the 6-0 dude with 6 first-round knockouts down in Indiana. I got to go down there and corner him. I got to corner Trent Peters tomorrow at BCM up there in I forget where it's at, but it's a 2.5-hour drive. I got to drive there. So I got Trent's fight tomorrow, RJ fight next week, my fight the Friday after that, Rat's fight August 24th. Brody might hop on that card. Then my other buddy Kobe's fighting September 1st. So we got a lot of fighters actually coming fighting out of the gym, and it's the page on Facebook grew quick. We had it for maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks now. It's got like 1.5 thousand people following it. It just grew really quick. The community backs us because New Lex isn't very big, so it's cool just having that little small community and all the guys coming in there to help out.
Yeah, I definitely encourage people watching or listening to check it out as well. Once again, this is Bad Matt Adams here on Forged in Ohio. LFA 189 goes down August 2nd in New York. I know this is your first fight under contract with LFA. How excited are you to fight on that stage and show off your skills to that type of audience?
I'm excited, man. I feel like I should already done this, but like I said, the MRI situation, it sucks. That happened because the opponent I had back then was a big name opponent. He was a good guy, and I messaged him afterwards. I'm like, man, this isn't the end. We're going to cross paths again. Like, don't think of this, I told him I'm sorry I couldn't get it done. I tried. I sent him receipts. I'm like, man, it's not like I didn't try to fight you. I had all my other medicals were done. Like, everything was turned in. So getting the fight now and actually getting the contract, it was cool how I got the contract. They told me they liked how they saw how I fought in bare knuckle. So that kind of opened the door for me. But they told me, they're like, we want you to sign a contract for us, Matt. We want to see what you can do. We believe you got the talent to do it. Buckle down and get ready. And I talked to Mark, the CEO or whatever, the president or whatever. He gave me a contract, man. It was cool just getting that email and getting that text and call from him. Hey, we're going to give you a 3-fight contract. See how you do, Matt. We really think you can do good. We really think, you can push yourself to the limits here. We're going to match you up against good guys, and we're going to let you go out there and do your thing. And it was cool getting that call, and it's cool being out there. I got my wife in my corner for this fight with Brody and my other boy, RJ Harris. So 3 people I feel real comfortable with. We're going down there and hope to make a statement. Hopefully put another Ohio guy on the map, because you already got Josh. You got Josh down there. You had Josiah that fought on there, and that was cool. Josiah came to the gym the other day, man. Ran a class for me, dude. He came all the way down here for Grove City and ran a class for me at my gym. So talking with him and talking with Josh, all the guys that been there, and they're telling me, hey man, they treat you good, dude, and do your thing out there. So, and Josiah got his break on there. He double legged that dude through a cage, and now he's in the UFC. So seeing guys like that, Josh is fighting for a title in 2 or 3 months. So it's cool seeing guys like that and talking to guys like that push you. So I'm ready to go out there and show another Ohio guy like can do it and push the limits. I'm fighting in this dude's backyard, so it's gonna be fun. I'm always fighting in guys' backyards. I always gotta go somewhere and fight someone.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that. He is a New York native, so are you expecting him to be the crowd favorite on that Friday night?
Yeah, he's number 1 ranked pro out of New York, which I think they only got like 5 or 6 pro heavyweights, which we only got like 13, so I can't say much. But yeah, he's definitely gonna be a crowd favorite. He's had a good amateur career. He helped run the boxing classes and stuff. So he don't get a lot of love on social media from what people told me. So I don't know. It's either gonna be a mix of like they're all like older guys that don't really care for social media. They're gonna show up for him. Or maybe it won't be like that. Maybe I'm just over, maybe he just one of them guys that like to fight. He don't really post his stuff a lot. So I don't know. It's going to be 1 or 2 mix. I hope pit guys show up. I hope they're loud for him, I thrive under pressure. I love it, The guy I wrestled at State, he was a guy from up there in Columbus area, around that area. A lot of guys came out for him. I beat him, they were yelling for him. I had to shut the crowd up there. I'm ready to shut the crowd up here, It's going to be a banger. It's going to be a heavyweight brawl, expect to see a lot of stand-up. So I'm definitely not just going to take the guy to the ground.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that because I've talked to fighters who love being in that role, like the villain going into someone else's backyard. Are you going to enjoy the boos and everything that comes with fighting a hometown guy?
Yeah, man, I got booed down Albuquerque, man. I fought that dude in his hometown. He trained out of Jackson Wick right down the road from where we fought, man. He moved down there years ago and been training down there. So that's originally where he was from, his hometown. So it's like, when they announced my name, people were booing. I was booing. If you watch, I was booing myself. I'm like, yeah, let's go. It's just one of them things that I'm going to have to deal with that because I'm not afraid to fight people in their backyards. I don't care. When I fought for West Virginia State title against Gary Rollins, everyone thought I won the fight, but they gave him the nod. I was getting booed. I was fighting. I fought in his hometown. They brought the ring that I fought in from his gym. So I'm used to it by this time now. I'm ready for it, and I'm ready to get booed. I don't care. Boo me all you want. But by the end of the fight, I'm sure you're going to show me respect.
I love it. Aside from Cameron Kinzig, Alex Marro is likely the toughest opponent you've faced. Are you impressed with Marro's resume and the challenge ahead of you on August 2nd?
Yeah, he's got a lot of good fights. He's a good fighter, good boxer, good stand-up. They say he's good at wrestling. Got some losses on his fights records. I mean, I got some losses on mine. I can't say much. He's undefeated as a pro, so he don't got any losses there in that book. Yeah, man, anybody that's made that level, you're gonna fight for LFA. I'm impressed with. I want them hard fights. Be on a 6 fight. I hope you're on. I wish you were on a 10 fight winning streak. It's just one of the things. I don't care if you're on 10 fight winning streak. When they call me, I'm gonna fight. I don't care. Cause like I said, when I look back at my resume, I don't want to look back and see them easy fights. Like I got 2 easy fights on my resume right now. You know, I hate to say that. I don't want to call them guys easy or soft, but they were journeymen in the game. They're guys that have fights, but they take fights. They win a fight, they lose 3 fights. They win a fight, they lose 2 fights. You know, it's one of them things. Like I want to look back and say I fought these dudes that were on 6 fight winning streaks, 7 fight winning streaks. I beat these dudes that were on these winning streaks. You know. I wish I would wait a little bit longer to fight Cam Kinzik. I think it would have been a better fight when I had more experience, but we'll get that rematch back. Let me win this fight, maybe one more, and I'm gonna talk to LFA about that. Like I said, I got 3 fights with him, so hopefully one of them is Cam, because I know he's looking for a fight for them. You know, he just had one. He beat Aaron Bush from Ohio, which I don't know what happened to that fight. I don't know. They said Aaron was sick. I don't know the whole aspect of that, but then he fought that one guy with a front kick to the face, knock him out. That's pretty cool. Which was, I don't know why they gave him that dude. The dude was like 0-1 or something. I don't get how you're fighting a dude that's 0-1 or 0-0 or something. When you're 3-0 with 3 knockouts, you shouldn't be fighting dudes like that. That's the thing. And then he had another fight for LFA, and something happened with that whole card that got canceled. So
We talked about some of
ready.
the canceled bouts you've had earlier. Because of that, this fight on August 2nd is your first in about 7 months. What can fans expect to see out of this version of Bad Matt Adams at LFA 189?
Oh, you're gonna see fireworks. You're gonna see heavy punches. You're gonna see a lot of big slams. You're gonna see a lot of big things out of me that I should have been showing this whole time. You're gonna see patience. You're gonna see low left pressure, but you're gonna see a lot more accurate punches, a lot harder punches. Uh, you're gonna see really me dialing in this fight. You know, it's a bigger opportunity. I'm gonna like Eminem says. You gotta seize the moment. I hate to quote that, but you really do gotta seize the moment every time you get a big opportunity. You can't let it slip. You know, you gotta really do
How
it.
do you think the fight will go? How do you get your hand raised?
I think the first round we're going to be a banger. I think we're going to stand up. I'm going to see what he got. You know, if it has to go to the ground, I think I'm the better wrestler. You know, they say he wrestled in high school, maybe college or whatever. But I was a state national champ wrestler. You know, I have the athletic ability. I only wrestled 2 years. And I did that. I set a couple Ohio records. So if it has to go to the ground, we can go to the ground. You know, I'm comfortable wherever he wants to take the fight. You know, you have to be any fight. You have to be comfortable. You can't just have be a one-trick pony. You know, so I'm ready to either stand up if he wants to stand up, or if he wants to clinch. I see him clinch a couple fights. All right, let him clinch me. Let's see where that goes. You know, we're going. It's going to be a banger fight. It's going to go one or two ways. Him knocking me or me knocking him out. Because I'm telling you right now, I'm not tapping. I'm not going out. I'm not going out on the stool like a little bitch.
Let's go, man. I cannot wait for August 2nd. I'll ask you one more. Would you take the over or under one full round for this fight, knowing that most Matt Adams fights end in that very first round?
I'm going to go under because I'm going to go out there with the intention to kill him. You know, I hate to say that, but the whole fight game is killed or be killed. You know, you have that mentality. Now, afterwards, we can shake hands. I shook Cam's hand. I gave him a hug. You know, he beat me. I'm not going to I don't carry that same mentality out of the ring. I don't walk out ring like, oh my God, you know, blah, blah, you know. I don't do that. So I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go at it. So I think under one round. I think it'll go a 5-minute round. Yeah, I think it'll end under 5 minutes.
All right, man. There we go. August 2nd. I cannot wait for LFA 189 to see Bad Matt Adams compete on that stage. Before we wrap up, anything you want to shout out here at the back end of the show, I'll give you the floor here.
Yeah, I just want to shout out all my sponsors. I got some of them back there. I picked up a couple more in my hometown, Snyder and Flott. I picked up Dave Feed and Seed, just small town sponsors that I really love and respect. I've been doing business with you guys for years. It's crazy to see because the guys that own it now are my friends that were in high school. They bought their own businesses. So off the other old owners, and they keep in the town. They keep the business going, man. Them business could went under, but these guys took it, and now they're doing the best they do. So I just want to give a shout out to all my sponsors. Troy Smock with Smock Performance. I want to give a big shout out to my training partner Brody, RJ, Rat, Trayvon, Wimberly, all the guys that helped me get ready. Jay Murphy. I just want, you know, everybody that's been there for me. My wife, I want a big shout out to my wife especially. She puts up with me every day. My daughters, Gracelyn and Adeline, without them, I wouldn't be where I'm at. You know, they push me every day. I look at them. I know I want to prove to them that you can chase your dreams. You know, always chase your dreams, no matter how old you are, how young you are, no matter what you got going on, always chase your dreams. So just shout out to my family. Love them. Shout out to all my fans, my sponsors, my training partners. Shout out to you for giving me the platform to talk to you. I just love everyone that that's involved in this sport because it's such a little community. Everyone thinks it's huge, but it's only 5-10% of the world actually involved in the fighting community.
Well, thanks again, Matt, for coming on the show. It's been far too long since your first appearance on Forged in Ohio. You might remember how I like to end these chats on here, though. It's by doing the OHIO chant with my guests. So, OH.
Yep.
Thanks,
IO.
Matt. I appreciate the time. I can't
up.
wait to watch you do your thing on August 2nd at LFA 189, and I won't wait another 17 months to have you back on the show for a third time.
Yes, sir. I appreciate everything you've done.
That was Bad Matt Adams, the 2-1 pro mixed martial artist. When I say there's no one quite like Matt Adams, I mean it. He is the definition of a prize fighter, the definition of a must-see fighter. He's always down for a scrap, and I'm thrilled that he has the opportunity to showcase his skills on the LFA stage. If you enjoyed this episode, leave the podcast a good rating wherever you're listening, or if you happen to be watching here on the Forged in Ohio YouTube channel, then I ask that you leave the video a like and subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. You can also find the show on Instagram and Facebook at Forged in Ohio. As always, thank you all for watching or tuning in. I've been your host, Jake Murren, and this was Forged in Ohio.